Okay, now, we've got our lure cut out. We've got it all sawed. Now we got to lay it out to get ready to whittle it down. I've got a piece of paper here that I've cut off of a piece of cardstock, like you'd buy for your printer for your home to make Christmas cards or whatever with. It's kind of heavy paper to use for drawing. You got to have a straight edge, but you got to have something that'll flex. That's why I use cardstock. On the lure itself, you want to designate dead middle on it. Now, I use 3/4 inch wide lumber. Now, we could spend all day long measuring and everything, but most average people have a good eye. I always like to come in and find middle on it and mark it. That way, a good eye will train you. Then come to the back of it, on the back side of the lure, find middle, and mark that real good. Eyeball it real well. Make sure that you like it because it's both middle. Then take your paper, lay it across the lure, get your front edge down, get your front edge on there, bring your paper back, get your back edge lined up, sometimes it's a little difficult to do. Sometimes you have to fiddle with it for a little bit until you actually get it where you really want it, as you can tell here. But once you get it down, hold the paper down real good, make your marks up your lure, all the way down through the middle of it, through the middle of the back, over the top, down the bill. You get down, you put your marks in there. Now we're marked straight over the top. Now we want to flip it over and do the same thing on the bottom side. Go middle, bring it over the top, bring your mark down, trace it back, bring it middle there, lay your paper on, get it on both edges at the same time, bring your pencil line down, mark it middle, like that. And then you've got it all marked out little. Now, you got to make your carving lines. This is kind of a matter of opinion. This just depends upon your own imagination and how you design your lure. I put marks on my lures of where my carving lines are going to be. I always like to come in on the lure to where I think the body should start sledging down smaller. And I'm thinking it's got a full belly. I'm going to say I'm going to come into about right here, and then I'll put a mark across it right there. Now, I'll turn it, transfer my mark across the top, transfer my mark across the bottom, come across the top, use my straight edge, line it up. I want to line it up straight with myself so that I can get a good square line with it. If you don't happen to be one of those type of people that have a real good eye for square, don't fret yourself. Just spend a little bit and buy yourself a small tri-square, and then you can keep it all on mark. The reason for these lines is so when you're whittling, you want to make sure you pull everything from the same angle, from the same degree. That will help you keep the lure in profile. Now, for the tail end of a lure, I like to give it plenty of room. So what I do is I split the back ends in half again. I come middle and split the back ends in half again. Then I take my paper, my edges, and I'll bring it from that mark there to my pencil line right here. But I have to be careful that I don't slip. Bring your pencil line up here. We do the same thing on the other side. Bring our pencil line down to here. So we've got our marks here. That way we know to whittle down to this line and whittle down to that line. I'll do the same thing on the bottom. I'll cut middle on that, cut middle on that. I'll bring my pencil line down, change it over. Do the same thing there. Now, on the front, we're going to be a little different. As we whittle on the front, we're going to bring the head design in, but only to a certain degree. We'll probably just come across, I like to hold about a half of an inch above. I'll bring my half inch down to where the bill comes across, where your mark comes across. I bring my half inch in. Then I'll take the same half inch and I come out at about a 30-degree angle. I brought these in about 45. I'll take that back out at about a 30-degree angle, both ways. Because when we end up with it, we're going to make a spoon shape on our bill. Now, we're not going to worry about the bottom side of it right now, because when we whittle this out, we're going to do that all from the top side. All from the top side. The bottom side won't be whittled or shaped from this point forward until we get this whittled down from the top. There's a reason for that. If you whittle it from the bottom, you're going to have a tendency to take too much wood off of the top. So you want to make sure you use your top for your guide as you whittle in. That leaves you a good throat down below to make sure that your bill is thick enough to be strong enough to stand up to the screws that we have to put in for the eye to pull it by, and also not to weaken the strength of it when it pulls through the water, because this has really got to be strong. This is kind of one of the tricks to making a one-piece whittled bill. This has to be strong. So only pay attention to that top part, and when you're whittling, if you do anything, make sure that you whittle off to the top side instead of to the bottom.